Oh. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Oh, I am not sleeping well at all. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. Was really tired. Went to bed around 11, 12 p.m. Woke up at like 2:30 in the morning. Just been sitting here for the last couple hours. Figured I'd go live, hang out, and work myself back into sleep. What's up, Corsets and Crows? How you doing? Scott, how you doing? Maybe I'll talk myself into a nice slumber. That's the plan. Yeah, we hit the goal, Joe. Heck yeah, we did. That's how we live, man. That's how we live. Oh. Oh. It's been a hard day. Like, we were all super excited for my dad's birthday yesterday. What's up, Liz? And I didn't even call him the day before his birthday because I knew I was going to see him on his birthday, but I called my sister to see if we were going to do anything with him because we never make plans. We always do stuff last minute. He's not like the plans type of guy. And I kept asking if he had any plans. He was playing it down, so I told my sister we had to do something for him. And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And she went and bought a bunch of stuff to make a big dinner. And my dad's wife couldn't find him. And called us to see if he was with us. And I guess he had passed out or passed away in the driveway of the house. And she found him there and then called us. And it was like 10 p.m. the day before his birthday. It's and then all day yesterday we were like, I don't know, just trying to come to terms with everything and sitting around, and we had all this food we bought for his birthday. And we tried to get together and cook, and it was just, we're sitting there at the table eating these like good ass steaks, and we had some like Brussels sprouts. My sister made twice baked potatoes, and we're all just sitting there like oh, it was tough. It is tough. Like, I've been so, like, I want to say anxious. Like, my nerves are just shot. Hey, Shale Riley, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Oh, Dean Domino's hungry as a motherfucker. What should you order? Is it breakfast time where you're at? Like, what's available? Yeah, thank you, Spidey Roo. It's tough because, like, my dad has been feeling old, you know. He was saying he's not, like, the last couple conversations I had with him, back reading the text messages, and he's saying how, you know, he's not gonna be around much longer. And he knew this was coming. I don't think he knew it was coming this soon. But he just straight up was like, oh. One of the last conversations I had with him, he was talking about my nephew, and my nephew had a jazz concert, and I was telling him how if I would have known it was going down, I would have loved to have gone and watched it with him. And he was like, yeah. He said, because I told him how much it meant for him, for my nephew, for him to be there. And he said, it meant a lot to me too. Still glad he has you. I won't be around someday. That was like less than 2 weeks ago. And the last time I talked to him was Friday night. And I was trying to get him to come onto the podcast I do, and we were going to have an episode with him, my nephew, and me. And we were just going to do the regular show, but we were talking about it Thanksgiving, and he was like, yeah, I'll come do the show. I'll come do because I was trying to talk him into doing like a full ass like podcast with me and my nephew. 3 generations of interesting human beings talking about stuff. I thought it'd be fun. Just sit down and chat, because like he's been like everything to my nephew. And my nephew's gotten so much of my humor and my dad's humor, and he's just so funny. He's like a 15-year-old kid, but he's obviously, you know, an old soul type of guy. He used to dress up like an old man when he was a little kid. He'd walk around with an old man hat, and it was so funny. And we were really excited for that to happen. And I was talking with him, and we were talking about all his crazy stories, and this is literally the last conversation I had with him. I said I wanted to sit down with him and a camera and just record some of them, because he tells them so well, and he's got so much, like, so many, like, ridiculous, crazy, like, badass stories, you know? And he brought up the movie Big Fish, which is all about he was like, nobody would believe my stories anyways. And he brought up the movie Big Fish, and we had watched it for the first time when his dad was in the hospital with a heart attack, and me and him just bawled crying. And that was almost 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. And the last conversation I had with him, he brings up Big Fish. Some bitch. Oh. Can't express Spidey Roo. It's just like what they say about loss is you don't feel lost unless you know you had something worth losing, right? So you have to hold on to that you had something good, and you wouldn't be feeling this way if you never had something that great, you know? You call ice? Nah. Good morning. Good morning. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. My dad's doctor was telling him he had to be healthy. Just like a month and a half, 2 months ago, he was telling me the doctor wanted him to go to the gym, and he was making all these jokes about he gets enough exercise grocery shopping. And he lived a hard ass life, you know? The last 2 months he's been making jokes about turning 69, because he's an old school perv, you know? He's one of those guys that was charming as hell, so being a pervert was effective. You know how that goes. There's two types of perverts. There's the ones that you want to stay away from and the ones that you want to get close to. He was one of those that you want to get close to. So he's making 69 jokes for the last 2 months. And he passed away the day before his 69th birthday. The night before. Like we went and got a whole dinner, and my sister went out to Costco and just got like filet mignon and Brussels sprouts with some good bacon to cook into it. She made twice baked potatoes. She probably made 20 twice baked potatoes. And just went all out for my dad, and he was excited. He was so happy to know we were going to come see him, cook dinner for him and hang out with him. And he couldn't quite make it to that party. But it's like I've had a pit caught in my throat since I heard the news, and I can't fully swallow. Like a pill maybe is stuck in my throat. And I have like this anxiety where I feel like there's something I have to do. Like there's something I could do to make any of this different. I took some sleeping gummies, and last night I took them, well, this morning I took them about 6 a.m., 5:30, 6 a.m. I was up by like 9:30. I couldn't sleep, and I was really tired after the long day yesterday. And about 11 p.m., I took a sleeping gummy, and I was out by midnight, and 2:30 I woke up, and I just couldn't get back to sleep. I look like the singer Meatloaf. Yeah. I should do a Meatloaf cover. That'd be lit. What's up, Desolator Magic? How you doing? Yeah, this last 2 years, it's weird because I've been feeling like this dread for quite some time, and I wasn't quite sure where it was gonna land. And now that it's landed, I'm like, well, this sucks. I don't feel the dread anymore. I have a whole new feeling now. Yeah, like, I think when my dad had a heart attack about 15 years ago, he was at the tail end of his hardcore drug use, you know, like my dad got honorably discharged from the Marines and went straight into the war on drugs, and he was fighting for the drug side. And he was decorated, man. Like, he was going through the LSD period of the 70s. He was a big LSD guy, and then he caught that crack epidemic that went around in the 80s and 90s, and he rode that fucker out to the tail end. And then he had a heart attack one night, and I came home, and he had a big old pot of crack in front of him. And I gave him this look, and he was like, "Don't judge me." He was like, I just had a heart attack. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure I had a major heart attack tonight. And nobody was here to drive me to the hospital. And I'm like, who does that? And I'm just like, okay. And then a year later, he went for a checkup, and the doctors were like, oh, looks like you had a major heart attack a year ago. We're going to have to do a quadruple bypass surgery on you right now, immediately. Like, you can't leave. This guy just walked around for a year. And that was 15 years ago. And he went through his quadruple bypass surgery. And then 10 years after that, he those things only last like 10 years. He got a cow valve or whatever put in his heart, like a little a ventricle. I don't know what the hell it is. Damn piece of a cow strapped into his chest. And that got him going another 5 years. So the last few years, he was really suffering in a lot of ways, just dealing with getting old, when he was normally the type of guy that was very like active. He would go wake up at 4 a.m. or come home from a whole night of working all night long. He used to work the graveyard shift and go fishing and just always doing something, you know. And last couple of years, it's been harder for him to do anything. And I think his he knew that his time wasn't long. Like, that's evident in all the text messages I'm looking back on. You know, he's really saying things like he's not going to be here, and he's glad I'm here for my family, because he won't be, you know. But he knew that we were going to be okay. That's big. I think he was very, very proud of his children and his grandchildren, and proud of the fact that he lived his life the way he wanted to. You know? He didn't really have any regrets. And that helps a lot. I really feel like I've been dreading this for the last 15 years, ever since his first big heart attack. But he was a good dad. He was a really good dad. Yeah, Alzheimer's is heartbreaking. Somebody in my family is dealing with it right now, and it's not easy. That was actually what sparked the conversation with my dad Friday night. Johnny Bravo, my dad, passed away Sunday night, and his 69th birthday was Monday, so it was rough. Well, I'm very fortunate for my dad. Like, he had a lot of issues that
Ratlord Alcaraz donated $10. He was a great man, and he raised the sweetest boy.
The sweetest boy. Thank you, Ratlord. He definitely he definitely wanted kids. It was like his life goal. He wanted tall kids. Because he was 5'7". Yeah, he was probably, I don't know the exact time that he passed, because my stepmom couldn't find him. And when she finally found him laying out in the driveway, I think he was already gone for some time. I'm not sure exactly. But he was probably at least 6 hours away from turning 69. He used to work nights, so when I was a kid, he would always be coming home around the time I'd be getting up and going to school. And whenever we had field trips, he would volunteer because he could just come home from work, go to school with us, and then after our field trip, go sleep a little bit and go to work again. And he would go to like me and my sister's field trips all the time. All the kids loved him. He was like the cool dad, you know? When you have the cool dad. And I had the cool dad. He would joke around how he went on more field trips than we did, because he'd go on my sister's, he'd go on mine. And one time I got sick, but he was already signed up to chaperone for the field trip. So I stayed home and he went without me. My dad used to play Tetris all the time. I don't know if he played it as much recently, but he used to be a big Tetris player, and he might have still played it. I know he had the old Nintendo set up with Tetris, but I don't think he had the old controllers, and he wasn't the biggest fan of the new controllers. I don't know if we ever found him the old controllers or not. But he was a big Tetris player, and I definitely just zone out playing Tetris sometimes. Nick says, your dad passed away when you were 15. He was 48. They say time heals. Trust me, it doesn't. It just helps you manage the pain. This is still the same to this day. Yeah, like, I'm so lucky that he knew his time was coming, and he made many conscious choices to show me, to show my sister, to show his grandkids that he was very proud of them, you know? He made many conscious choices to do that. And I made many conscious choices to let him know the same back, you know? I feel like the last few years, our conversations have all been coming from a place of where they could be the last, you know?
Chris Xavier donated $10. My condolences, pal. I have heard you speak fondly of your father many times. Thank you, Papa Fridge, for bringing us Billy. Rest in power.
Yeah. So, like, the pain I have, it's been eased in. I got very lucky with that. Like, I'm very lucky that we've had the last 20 years because the first run was pretty tough on all of us. We lived hard mode, and when we got through that, everything just seemed to be easy, right? Once you beat the game on hard, everything else is so much simpler. But I'm sorry, Nick, that you didn't have more time with your dad. Like, I gotta be thankful that I got as long as I did. Because my dad lived hard. Like, he was a party guy. Before I was born, he was like a crazy alcoholic. Like, he told me a story that he had woken up drunk, tied down to a gurney in a hospital storage room, I think. I think there was a storage room. He was tied to a gurney. He was strapped in, and he's yelling and screaming for somebody to let him out. And I think somebody came in and said, "We're not letting you out, you crazy son of a bitch." And so he started rocking the gurney. I think they had stripped him down into maybe like one of those. What are those hospital aprons called? The damn the sheets with sleeves that they put on you when you go to a hospital. You can tell I haven't been to a hospital, and my mindset's not there right now. But he was rocking around on this thing, flipped it up, and he was still tied to it, and he just started pissing all over the entire room, drunk as hell. Just pissing all over the gown. He was the goddamn gown. I don't wear gowns, okay? I'm not the gown type. I'm always surprised, though, when I go to the hospital and they have a gown in my size. I'm like, hey. But, yeah, he was just pissing all over the hospital room. And they came in, and they released him because they had no reason to keep him there. He was not legally detained, but he was a wild, like, drinker before I was born. And he had met my mom, and he had been bad with alcohol, and she left him, and he went to a inversion therapy for alcohol, where they like.
Kira's Ariel funded $5. Just keep on living a life that he would still be proud to watch. Thanks for everything you've done to shape Billy into the man he is. R.I.P. Papa Fridge.
Yeah, thank you, Ariel. And you're definitely the gown type, Rat Lord. Nice. And he got clean of alcohol. He went to inversion therapy, where they like shock you, I think, and get you super drunk to the point where if he even ate food that was cooked in wine, he would start violently puking. So like he couldn't physically drink without violently puking. And got back with my mom, and he had 2 kids. And he started smoking weed because he couldn't drink. And he needed some sort of like medication, right? He needed his medicine, right? They might have kicked him out of the hospital so that he would stop pissing on everything. But he was a problem solver. What can you say? You wake up, You wake up strapped to a hospital bed. You gotta innovate. You gotta get out, and sometimes that means pissing all over the place. But I remember, like, when I was 5 or 6, I don't know, I was young. My dad got piss tested at his work, and they told him he'd either have to stop smoking weed or he'd lose his job. So he went to rehab for weed because that was part of the conditions to keep his job. And after getting out of rehab for weed, he needed something, and cocaine gets out of your system in 3 days. So if he got a party on the weekend, he could piss test and be clean. But cocaine is a rich man's kind of high. So he had to buy into the crack epidemic. And that was where, like, we had a really tough run as a family. And then he quit. It took a while. And then he just started smoking weed again because he was retired. So he didn't have to worry about taking no piss tests. And he calmed down. He chilled out. And then they legalized weed, right? It's like the prohibition on weed really put him in a fucked up place. He wasn't a hospital type of guy. He had to self-medicate. It's really what it was. Got to do what you got to do, right? He couldn't drink. That got him through the day. Couldn't smoke weed. That got him through the day. He had to find something. And then he got his weed back. And he had always had so much weed. He'd always be giving me tons of weed. He'd always be giving my friends weed. He'd be giving everybody he knew. He'd just be giving. He was like weed Santa Claus. Like, you need some green. You need some groceries. Here, have some weed. I think I still have probably about 2 ounces chilling here. He just gives me so much weed. Ugh. The anxiety or the nerves or whatever. Like, what's up, Chris Callahan? How you doing? Yeah, he was a really a cool guy. Like, he had this thing where he would give you everything he could give you, right? And then when he didn't have anything to give, he would become a mean son of a bitch so you wouldn't want to be around him. It's like, I had so many friends growing up that were like, dude, you have the coolest dad. You have the coolest dad. And then, I don't know, where my dad would just be like, turn on everybody and be mean as hell. And it was just because he was laid off. He didn't have enough money to feed everybody. So he burnt the house down. Kira Devil, that's so young to lose a father. I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I'm so lucky that I had my dad for as long as I did. Before I was born, he was a crazy drinker. He was just like always fighting. When I was talking to him about sitting down and filming some of his stories, he said to me, let's see, let me pull this up because it's one of the last things he said to me. I said, I want to sit down and record some of your stories, Dad. This was literally Friday night. I was telling him this. We were talking about the movie Big Fish, and son of a bitch had to bring it up in the last conversation I had with him. I said, I want to record some of these stories so I don't have to fill in all the blanks, because he was talking about how Big Fish, nobody would believe his stories, and the guy in Big Fish, his son, had to like fill in all the blanks to know the full story. And he said, we can talk. We should start with the first time I got laid. It was about the same time I got my ass kicked. And that was the last time I got my ass kicked. And my dad was always fighting. He was a son of a bitch. It was great. He was a fighter. And he was always drunk, brawling with people. Like, he's totally like the character in him. And he was 5'7", so he was never the biggest guy. But he was just mad. He was crazy. He was just a son of a bitch. And that's who he was. So like, he was always putting his body on the line, always going. He worked in the shipyards. He was a boilermaker, and he was always breathing in soot and burning himself up. He'd come home and he'd be caked in soot. His hands would be black because he wouldn't wear gloves. His arms would be black with just ash and soot. His face would be black with ash and soot. He'd have a bar of lava soap at the sink, and it would be black from him half washing his hands and face. And he'd just have this dirty ass bar of soap all the time. We never used Dad's soap. And he just lived hard. Before I was born, he got in a motorcycle accident that he probably should have died from. He broke his thumb and had to have a wire placed in his thumb. And he, like, there was like stories my mom told when he was sleeping with her. He'd like be drunken, rumbling, and he had a wire sticking out of his thumb, and he'd be like scratching her up. It's crazy. And then when we were kids, he got in another motorcycle accident on the freeway because he went out camping with some friends of his, and just disappeared for a weekend camping. We were home. We were fine. And he comes home and he's tore up. He's got like road rash all up the side of his body. His motorcycle was totaled, and his sleeping bag had fell off the back of his motorcycle, wrapped up in the spokes of his motorcycle, and stalled his motorcycle out on the freeway going 70 miles per hour. And he slid down the freeway like 100 feet during high-speed traffic, slid right by a semi-truck, tore his body up, and fucking walked away. Like, if he would have went to the side either way, he'd been crushed by a semi-truck or multiple cars. Dude was like hard. He lived hard. So he could have been taken from us way earlier, multiple times. You know, having a heart attack and walking away from it for a whole year, and then going to the doctor finally after a year, knowing something was wrong, and the doctor being like, you need a quadruple bypass surgery right now, and then still pulling out another 15 years after that. It's like, damn, I was really lucky to have him as long as I did. Like lucky. And I was lucky that we were able to communicate with each other, you know, and tell each other how much we really meant to each other. And the way that he complained about turning 69 for the last 2 months. It's fucking perfect that he died the night before his 69th birthday. The fucking asshole. Oh. God. I don't know. Our family is like really, really good. We're all really strong, independent people. And we've had so much loss. And there's going to be more. But I'm lucky to have them still. And I wish he would have had more time with his grandkids, because growing up when I was a kid, he would always talk about how the best times of his life were with his grandpa. And his grandpa died before I was born. And my dad liked to fish a lot. And I was a little fat kid. And I got tired of fishing real quick. Because he would go so much, right? And I remember he took me and my sister out on a river. We were river fishing. I think he was going for steelhead. And I'm not exactly sure. It was a huge fish. He caught on the line. Me and my sister were like single digits. I'm not sure exactly how young. We were young. And he gets this fish on the line. And he's like, stay here. I gotta get this fish. And he starts running up river with this fish. And he's fighting this fish. And me and my sister are just waiting for him to come back, and he gets further and further away, and we can hear him like screaming at this fish, like fuck. And we're up in a mountain somewhere. We hiked into this river, and we're all alone, and we just hear him further and further away screaming and cussing at this fish. Felt like he was gone for half an hour. I don't know. We were kids. It felt like it was a good time where he was gone. He was way out of eyesight, not out of earshot, because everything was echoing back to us. And we were like panicked, just freaking out. And he comes back with his gigantic fish. And he was very happy. And I think that might have been where I stopped liking fishing, maybe. I don't know. But I think it bummed him out that I wasn't big into fishing later on. But he had grandkids. He got to take them fishing. We used to go on this charter boat when we were kids, and we would rent out this charter boat, and it was in Westport, Washington. And everybody on the boat would always get like their full limit of fish caught. The guy was just the captain of the boat, just knew all the places. And he was really good at what he did. So we'd pay like, I don't know, $100 a person to go on these fishing trips. And we'd bring back fish for like 6 months. Between the whole family, we'd have fish forever. And he really liked that. But the last time I went out, I was like 15. And I got really seasick. And I was like miserable on the boat. Still got my limit of fish because even though I couldn't fish, everybody else caught more than enough. And I was like, I don't want to go back out again. And he finally got me to go back out with him a couple years ago. And I took Dramamine so that I wouldn't get seasick. We took Joe and his wife out. And Joe got really seasick. Like really seasick. And she caught tons of fish. Everybody caught a bunch of fish. And we were great. And there's like the photo. It's in the thumbnail of this video. They used it on the ad for their fishing services. They put the picture up. It was me, my dad, and my sister. And like, I think 20... I think maybe it was lane cod. Maybe it was 40. I think the limit was 2 per person. It was a 20-person boat. We just had all these, pretty sure it was cod laid out in front of us. And they put that up on their flyer to advertise. It was just such a great pick. And they had remembered us from when we were kids because my dad has been steadily going back on that fishing trip for years. And the captain of the boat, his son was running the boat. They were still getting, like, we got off the boat bags full of fish. And it was just like when we were kids, we were looking at all the other boats. All these other people were getting off with like tiny little bags with like one little fish or something in it. And we had these fucking gigantic garbage bags full of meat. It was great. My dad talked me into going back on that trip because it was, he said, this could be my last trip. This could be my last trip. And he was really trying to push me to go back last year. And I was like, Dad, I already did one last boat trip for you. And then COVID hit and they didn't do it. So couldn't have gone back anyways. He might have went back, though, on another run a couple times. He was always going out there. He loved it. Kara Devil says, it was rough losing your dad young. Oh, of course. You barely spoke. You remember being 10. We'd wait for my mom to get home from working at the motor plant. After she passed out, we'd sneak onto the porch and share a pack of cigarettes. We didn't have common ground, really. I was a gamer, more into GTA than football, like he was, but we talk about life and the stars. He inspired my love for science. See, that's cool. That's cool. My dad was big into the stars. He was actually born premature, and they put him in an incubator, and the incubator burnt his eye to the point where he was legally blind in one eye. and he wanted to be an astronaut. And they had like the astronauts come to the school when he was a kid. And the astronauts, he was like asking the astronauts about how to be an astronaut. And they were like, oh, you couldn't be an astronaut. You wear glasses. You couldn't be an astronaut. And he was like, fuck this. And since he couldn't be an astronaut, he was going to find his way to go to space. So he spaced out on LSD, spaced out on all types of crazy shit. He in the 90s, there was this cult that thought there was a spaceship coming behind a comet. It was Hale-Bopp comet. It was the Hale-Bopp comet. And they were talking about they were going to catch a ride on the spaceship. And my dad was like, no, I want to go on this. I want to go on this spaceship. If the aliens are coming, I want to go. I want to go. And he was like dead set, when it comes, I'm going to get on this spaceship. Crazy son bitch. And then it turned out everybody did a suicide cult, and he was like, oh. He was like, never mind. It was Heaven's Gate. Yeah. He listened to Art Bell a lot when I was a kid. And Art Bell was full of like really out there stuff. Yeah, no matter what you do, I'll always love you. Yeah, I remember seeing my dad cry when I was young because one of his friends died. I actually have to reach out to his friend's son. He reached out to me recently. I grew up with these kids, and he loved their family, and their dad passed, and my dad was heartbroken. I remember watching him cry. And then, of course, when we were watching Big Fish and his dad was in the hospital, and we both cried together like babies watching Big Fish. And this guy has the nerve to bring up Big Fish in the last conversation I ever have with him. Thanks, Dad. But it's definitely like he was one of those guys, you know, no matter what you do, I'll always love you type of thing. My dad's drug talk. My dad's drug talk to me and my sister was, don't do alcohol because it fucked up my life, and don't do heroin because I never did that. And I don't think it's good because I've never did it. It's not silly. It's not silly to find a quiet place and talk to your dad. And I'll tell you why it's not silly, okay? We do things all the time for comfort. We have rituals that don't really make sense that we do because it's been tradition. You know, we do things for comfort. If talking to your dad comforts you, it's literally not silly. It's medicine. Even if you don't believe he can hear you, or if you think it's silly because there's no one really listening, it's not silly. If you scream, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. Even if you're not excited, it will trick your body into reacting as if you are excited. There are things you can do that are fabricated that your body reacts to realistically. So it could be medicine for your heart just to talk to your dad. And if it helps you through, you're doing it right. Doing it right. Yeah. I don't think my dad went to Woodstock. He would have been... He wasn't much of an East Coast guy. He was a West Coast guy. He would have been big on the music at the time. But he would have... I think my dad traveled with the carnival. There was a story he told me. I would have brought it up with him if I would have got to sit down with him like we talked about. To hell with that. You say you never knew your dad, and maybe that was the best thing your dad could do. There are good dads, there are bad dads, there are horrible people that father children. You don't know, right? That was like something my dad did. Like when my friends didn't have dads, he would like try and be fatherly for them. I had multiple friends that didn't have dads that he became like a dad for them.
Lord Magicus donated $5. I hope you'll know we're all here for you, and thanks for also making me laugh with the phrase, Thinker Pizza.
Gotta get a Thinker Pizza, Magicus. You gotta get a Thinker Pizza. If you don't know what you're gonna have for dinner, you gotta fat around and get a Thinker Pizza. Just get one $5 pizza from Little Caesars. Eat that pizza while you think about what you're gonna have for dinner. Nothing wrong with a Thinker Pizza. Just, it's all about fatting around. But no, it's rough because you don't know what type of parents you're going to be born into. And a lot of people get parents that are good in a lot of ways and they're bad in others. And you never really know what you're going to get. And you become who you are because of who you got, right? Yeah, the man you call dad is the one that raised you. Yeah, exactly. Like, you tend to find those father figures yourself, or they find you independently of being your birth father. Hopefully. Yeah. Some people are just a dad type, What's up, Courtney? How you doing? Good morning. Remember him playing games with me on here? Yeah, I should go back and find any videos I have of him. I remember. Thank you for reminding me of that. I totally forgot that we did that gaming stream. That'll be something I open up when I'm ready. Your grandpa adopted you? Yeah. Yeah. Love you too, to hell with that. Like, big love. Big love. Love you, Bill Hicks. Big love. Hearts, damn shame, Liz. Big love. Oh. My plan was to get on and live stream and just get tired. But I'm not tired enough just yet. I wonder if I should take a sleeping pill. What's up, Foxy? How you doing? Good to see you. Love you too. Oh. I could feel the headache coming in that I had the night I found out that he passed. I can feel it coming back right now. So I should get some rest soon. Red Eye, I'm sharing these stories because, like, I don't want to forget them, you know? Like, I want to sit down and rewatch this and remember more next time I rewatch it, you know? If heaven is real, who do you think my dad would be most excited to meet? All his friends. All his friends that he lost early. His dad, his grandpa, his grandma, his sister. So many people that he would be excited to meet that he hasn't seen for a long time. I have these sleep gummies I got from Costco, so I'll take one of those.
To Hell White that donated $20. Get you a nice lunch from somewhere, on me.
Thank you. To hell with that. I will probably go get a nice lunch thanks to you before the show tomorrow. I'm taking advantage though of not being being too sick to be hungry. I've been struggling since the pandemic with weight. Praise Cobra's magic. Yes. I got to get out to Wyoming and try and hang out with Cobes. I want to take him out on the town. It'd be so cool. He's such a fun dude. Sipping on some CBD, you know it.
Courtney Knight funded $5. That thumbnail is goddamn adorable. Hope you have a good day, homeboy Billy. Praise Cobra's magic.
Praise Copes. Yeah, I posted on Facebook. Literally, when I posted on Facebook, it posted to Facebook, and I went to go log into my regular Facebook because I posted it from Instagram, because I can post from Instagram to Facebook. It posted from Instagram to Facebook, and I went to go log into my actual Facebook because that posts to my artist page, and I was locked out of Facebook, and my Facebook is shut down right now. My sister and I both waited to post something until we went and talked to my mom and everybody that was close knew. And then I got kicked out of Facebook, and I've been able to log in for 14 hours. I just want to go shit post and like all the posts my family members have probably posted about my dad. Streamlabs like, he pronounced your last name correct? That's most definitely what's up. Andrew W says, why are you still so fat? Well, Andrew, when I was a child, we had a lot of day-old Twinkies and an abundance of sugary sodas. And I would drink about a gallon of milk a day, so I conditioned myself to be fat as hell.
Chris Xavier donated $10. Another big hug for you, Billy. Keeping you in my thoughts today.
Thank you, Chris Xavier. Appreciate you. And so when I finally started losing weight after reaching 600 pounds, I got down to 370-ish pounds, and the pandemic hit, and all of my go-to things I did to maintain my diet were shut down, and I started to struggle again with weight. So I'm still fat, I would like to think because I don't deal well with immediate change. That's probably why I'm still fat. Joe Harvey says, no, like my joke. I didn't see your joke. Anyways, I got locked out of Facebook, so I can't even respond to people on Facebook about anything. I would be dope on my 600-pound life. I was thinking about that. I don't know if I have enough footage from back then when I was at 600 pounds, but I could put together a My 600-Pound Life episode and release it on YouTube. Andrew W. says, what do you mean all my things to control my diet shut down? Are you too stupid to cook healthy? Yeah, I don't think you understand how conditioning and addiction to food works. It's called relapsing. It's called relapsing, dude. I don't know if you're that stupid, but if you're that stupid that you don't understand conditioning, then yeah, I guess I'm that stupid. Ferment your own sauerkraut and kimchi to maintain good gut bacteria and health. Yeah, I was eating kimchi all the time when I was on my diet. My mom makes sauerkraut too. I got to get back into that. Andrew can be mean. Like I'm over here having a good time, chilling with the people who want to be here. And Andrew wants to come in and be mean. And I got to tell you, Andrew, you're not as good at being mean as I am. And to top that off, I'm better at being nice than you could ever be. I could be so fucking mean and I choose kindness. That's how weak I think you are. That's how pathetic I think you are. And that's why I address you. I don't hide from your bullshit, stupid comments. Because you're a fucking worm. You're a weak, pathetic worm. And I want you to know that. I want you to know that your words are an expression of your own ignorance. And for you to come at me at any time, let alone a time like this, you must know you don't win, bitch. I win every time. Even when I'm down, I'm not out, you dumb motherfucker. I win, you lose. CK Shot You says, hey bud, everyone has their vices. I'm a fucking alcoholic. You are genuinely a good person. You've already done the first step by understanding what the problem is. Yeah, I got decades of accepting being the fat guy, you know? And I was on a good run and I got down to the lowest adult weight I'd ever been. I literally was the lowest adult weight I'd ever been. And when the pandemic hit, I had so many other things going on in my life that were destroyed as well. And I just reverted back to the old habits. And for you, Andrew, to say, not my fault, by the way. Self-control isn't real, by the way. It's addiction, by the way. It's called relapse, by the way. Not my fault, by the way. Not excuses, by the way. You come to me in my time of mourning with your bullshit, and I give you a simple explanation to your even simpler-minded question, and you call them excuses? I'm giving you reasons. If I could be thin, I might not even choose thin. I like being big. I obviously don't need to be this big. But if given the choice between being a pipsqueak or a thick boy, I would choose thick boy. And I want you to know that. I want you to know. I gave you an honorable response to your dishonorable question because I'm an honorable person. If you saw it as an excuse, that's your perception. I gave you reason where reason really wasn't owed. You understand that? I don't think you know the man my dad raised. You are not on my level. You are a barnacle on this ship, baby boy. And I will sail while you sink. And you're not buried treasure. You don't understand the Sigma Chad male you're dealing with, Papa. Seriously, though. You are minuscule, and I want you to know that. From the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart, you mean nothing to me other than you're an example of who not to be. And I appreciate you for being that example. Because I got so many people right now showing me love and support in my hard time that I want to be reminded that there are still miserable people in this world that I will have to win over. One day, and I've done this numerous times, where people come into my chat or my life and they're sour and they're bitter and they're misguided, and I speak to them on a level they probably haven't been spoken to before, and there's a level of respect there.
Ms. Liz funded 10 Canadian dollars.
Thank you, Miss Liz. There's a level of respect there that I'm even giving you right now when you don't deserve it, because that's the type of person I am, right? This is about me, not you. I'm giving you that level of respect. You have the opportunity to become a fan and turn your little bullshit into love and appreciation. So all the stories I got about my dad that I'm telling and enjoying, I got enough stories of my own that I could tell and make you look like a fucking blip on the radar, little bitch. Right before Hurricane Billy comes through and rolls your ship off the fucking face of this earth. And that's why I'm giving you the attention right now. Because I've seen it do great things for other people. But I can't change you. One day, Andrew W., you will have to make the choice yourself to choose kindness over whatever this miserable shit is you're doing. You have a fat mom or something? Is that where this is coming from? Fat dad? You have someone in your family that was fat and embarrassed you? Is that why you're coming at me? You were embarrassed? You have a fat aunt that used to take you around and fat around, and you would see her eating an ice cream cone and you look up in disgust because everybody would be looking at her and by proxy looking at you, and you couldn't look at them in a way that was decent and humane? Is that what this is about? Because if this is some sort of inner failure for you to accept a human being as a human being, let's get to the bottom of that. Where's this coming from, Andrew? Pyrotechnist, thank you, brother. Appreciate you so much. Because I'll tell you, bro, I'll tell you right now, me at my fattest was getting the amount of love and appreciation and adulation that I imagine you could only dream of. I imagine, because I really don't know you, because you are only giving me probably the worst of you to know. If it gets worse than this, then I understand why you're so miserable. But you're not equipped. You're not equipped to go toe to toe with me. I'm out of your league. I'm out of your league, Papa. And I know that. There's a crazy thing about belief, right? Belief is as good as fact. Religious people who believe in their religion believe in it as if it were fact. Maybe it is. Because the fact that we believe in is only a fact because we've used deductive reasoning to get to that fact. And facts get explored and they advance with more knowledge. One belief that I know is that if I believe in myself the way true believers believe in a God, then I become somewhat of a god. And what's a fucking goon to a goblin? Or a goblin to a god? Or a god to a non-believer? I'm a believer in myself, bitch. You think you could come toe-to-toe with me on any level? You think? You better believe it. What's up, Tipster? Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you very much. Oh. Part of me logged on today waiting for somebody like Andrew. Because one thing above all that I learned the earliest from my dad was there's a lot of bitch-made peckerheads would be his word. Maybe not bitch-made, bitch-ass peckerheads. Something along the lines. Whiny, sniveling peckerhead. And he knew exactly how to say the things that would make that person swing first. And then my papa would swing last. We're fighters. I was taught never to swing first. Because when the cops come, you were defending yourself. But I was also taught if you want to fight somebody, there are simple things you could say to make them swing first. The power of manipulation, Papa. You're lucky. You're lucky I got good influences in my life. And I choose to be a sweet boy. You're lucky I value the values I value. Because I could be a miserable son of a bitch and I could be successful at it. But I choose better. In my opinion, it's better. Thank you, Digital Bath. Most people are inherently all right, but there will always be a few jagoffs ruining the party for everyone else. And there's always going to be the master of ceremony that keeps the party going when somebody comes in and takes a turd in the punch bowl. It's got to be somebody that says, hey, don't drink that punch. There's a turd in it. The party's not over. Let's go. For every dweeb, for every whiny bitch peckerhead, that was the one. That's what my dad said. For every whiny bitch peckerhead, there's somebody like my dad, somebody like me, who does not back down, who calls your bluff and shuts you down. That's the legacy. That's the legacy. Chris Cowhig, appreciate you. Have a good day at work.
Chris Cowhig funded €10. Sorry for your loss, mate. Wish I could hang around and chat, listen more, but heading back to work. Love you, buddy. See you later.
Love you too, brother. Have a good day at work. Show us the good weeds. I actually think all the weed. There's a bunch of weed in my trunk. I don't know how much weed I have in here. I know I have like a little stash probably on my couch over here somewhere. I got so much clothes and stuff strung around right now. My room messy. He's just a baby Ruth in a swimming pool. Tries to throw off the good vibes, but he ain't shit. That's funny. I like that. He's just a baby Ruth in a swimming pool. Try to throw off the good vibes, but you ain't shit. That's cute. Land cook. Hey.
Tony from Revea donated $5. Much love, Browski. Lost my pops at 14 and moms at 17 never gets easier. Most important thing is he got to see you grow into a man and achieve your goals. You could see how proud he was of you. Salute to you, Brow.
Thank you. Sorry you lost your parents so young. Like, that's unfathomable to me. When I was young, like, shit was so hectic. I never saw myself living into my 20s, you know? I just couldn't see it. I had no vision of future. And then when everybody I was closest to started getting into their best life, starting their best life, you know? Life was different and it was easy because the hard stuff was all behind me. And it's really been a good run with family. I'm so lucky to have had that. Thank you. Oh, but yeah, Land Cook says, I wish I could stand up for myself like you to strangers. That's what I want for my kids as well. It was my dad. Like, he taught me early on. I was in the Boy Scouts. He didn't know about it because he worked nights. I was there for like 3 weeks. He found out about it and he took me out of the Boy Scouts because he was worried I was going to get molested. And, he was not worried for a wrong reason. Like, they had a huge lawsuit the time I was going there, from shit going down there. But my dad was super protective. Like, he took me out of the Boy Scouts because the Boy Scouts teach you to respect your elders. Like, no matter what, respect your elders, right? And that's grooming. That's grooming in a lot of ways. When applied in that situation, you're being group groomed. And he knew that. And he said to me, he goes, you don't respect anybody that isn't giving you respect. If you think somebody doesn't deserve your respect, you stand up for yourself. And no matter what happens, you come back to me. And if you're wrong, I'll let you know you're wrong and we'll work through it. But you never have to respect anybody who you don't feel is respecting you. I'm telling you, giving that type of power to a kid is dangerous. I was a son of a bitch, but nobody fucked with me. I had multiple teachers who tried to square up with me and fight with me at school. There was this one teacher. He was an art teacher. He was an old man war guy. And me and this other kid were always like assholes in class, talking shit, class clown type of thing. The teacher just pulls scissors on him and is like threatening to cut him. And I had to get up and like diffuse the situation. And then another teacher, because I would piss teachers off. I would get them boiling. Another teacher, he was like a teacher's aide. He pulled me out of class and he was like just dumping on me. He's like, swing on me. Swing on me. Nobody's here. Swing on me. See how bad you are. And I was taller than him. I looked down on him and I go, you're pathetic. I'm a kid. I'm a teenage kid. You're a grown-ass man. You are pathetic. And he knew he was pathetic too. He knew he was pathetic. Because he realized what he was doing. I had 2 female teachers who I was I wasn't mindful, right? Like I wouldn't listen when told to do something. I don't think I was ever too bad, but when you are a control freak and you use your position of power to control, I'm going to test that, right? I got along really well with tons of teachers who weren't testing me. But I had 2 teachers who brought their husbands in to fight me. And one guy came in and he was trying to threaten me. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, you're dumb. I'm a student at a school. You're dumb. If I would have fought him, would I have won? I don't know. I was a kid. He was a grown-ass man. I think I was in middle school. But I wasn't going to back down. And I wasn't going to throw the first punch. Because that's what my dad taught me. Never throw the first punch. Always fight with defense. So that when the cops come, when the authorities come, you have the high ground, right? And these teachers were never going to swing. I probably could have pushed them to swing, but I pretty much broke them the second I didn't back down. And then the teacher called my dad and she's like crying with my dad on the phone. And he's just like, hey, lady, you're an adult. Get it together.
Kyle donated $5. Hey bro, just know you matter and I love you bro. I hope you will be okay. You've been there for me and I'm here for you if you need it.
Thank you, Kyle. And Tipster, brother, thank you so much.
Tipster funded $49.99. I'm sure your father was proud to watch you grow into the sweet boy we all know and love. Hang in there, Big Billy. We all got your back. Heart.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. The support I've been getting on Twitter when I posted up the thing about my dad, all that love, man. It's been very, very cool to distract myself with that. Like seeing everybody say nice things about my pop and be kind to me. It's like, it feels good. It feels good. It's a good distraction. I appreciate that. But yeah, and the courts I would have won exactly. That's how my dad taught me, though. He was like, never swing first, always in self-defense. That way you don't get in trouble. But yeah, I think after my dad, when she called my dad crying and he told her to get her shit together, I think that's when she brought her husband in to try and fight me, and it did not work. And then another teacher brought her husband in, and I could see, I was walking into her class and I could see her talking to him, and he's looking the other way. And she goes, I could see her mouthing, pointing at me, "That's him. That's him." And her husband turns around, and he's maybe 5'6", 5'7", older man with glasses. She must have failed to tell him that she was dealing with a monster, because I could see his face drop when I walked up to him. And he was already beaten. And he's like trying to talk with me in front of his wife without backing down and being like a total bitch. But he was he was not effective, and he knew it, and I knew it. And I was being very gentlemanly with him. And it ended right there, because I knew he was already done. And she was so mad that it was ineffective that she went and called a meeting against me in the student body. And I had all the faculty, all my teachers there. My dad and my mom were there. All my teachers are saying all this stuff about how I was like naughty. And my mom was like, yeah, he does naughty stuff at home too. And my dad's like defending me hardcore. And they're not really buying it. And then I have a teacher walk in that has me for 2 classes. She has me for an art class, and she has me for a history class. She walks in late, and she just starts glowing about me, gushing about how great I am in both of her classes. And she starts saying to the other teacher that maybe she's not getting me to apply myself because she's not coming from the right angle with me, and that I'm brilliant. And then all the other teachers that were there that had seen me at my worst start questioning themselves, and they start bringing up all the times that I was brilliant in front of them, and they start realizing maybe they were handling me wrong. And I walked out of this meeting golden. I leave this meeting, I get invited on this panel for the principal of the school was leaving and getting a job somewhere else, but she was being interviewed by this other job. And I went on this panel. There was a ton of kids being interviewed by the other school about the principal. And they knew that I was like a troubled kid that had kind of like just been getting his stuff together. And I gave like the most charming portrayal of a saved student. Thank you to the principal. That she got her job. They told her it was me who got her the job, and she wrote me like the most forward, appreciative love letter on her way out of the school that she could. And then literally I could do no wrong. And I was still a bit of a brat. I was still a son of a bitch. So like I would get away with everything. I was still a sweet boy, but I was untouchable. They put me on a panel to replace her it was me and the president of the school were the only 2 students on the panel to find her replacement. And we were interviewing for that. It was like, if my dad hadn't been there to step up for me and draw out that meeting, that teacher wouldn't have been able to come in and like change everybody's persuasion. And I probably would have been like done right there. They wanted to expel me. And that's just like when you have somebody who instills in you to stand up for yourself and then backs you up when you're backed into a corner. It makes you strong. Yeah, Kira, your 10th grade teacher accused you of plagiarism for an essay you wrote on Julius Caesar. They wanted you expelled. Said you couldn't write that well or know so much since you slept in her class through it all. And another teacher watched you write the whole thing and correct whatever questions. Teacher got in trouble for not talking to me or checking anything first. That's some teachers suck. Some teachers are not good teachers. And then others are they will save you. I thought I was a dumb kid until 3rd grade when I had a teacher, Mrs. Caldwell. Mrs. Caldwell was, she seen something in me and she gave me opportunity to shine. And I did this art piece and I won like a contest at the school because I drew like this dragon. And it won a contest, and she took me and marched me back to my 2nd grade teacher to show off my art and to show off how brilliant I was, because my 2nd grade teacher thought I was an idiot. She thought I was so dumb, and she took me back to show me off. And I had a couple other teachers like that, you know, throughout my career as a delinquent juvenile. And it's those ones that if you were lucky to have one, you know, in your formative years, if you were lucky to have somebody stand up for you like that, it's a deal changer. Mrs. Davenport, Billy the Fridge is eating a meatball sandwich right in the classroom. Stop snitching. I love meatballs. But my dad, you know, he gave me that power to be a son of a bitch. He gave me the green light. He taught me alternative ways to exist. Early on, he said life, there's like a game, okay? He was like, if you want to play the game, you can play the game and you can probably do very well. But you don't have to. You can do it your way. And it could be harder or easier for you. But there is no right path, right? Like he's telling me basically that I didn't have to do things just because society told me to. Billy will tell the story of the inner city principal with a baseball bat that taught him to stand up to gangs. Nah. I was pretty cool with the gang kids. I was a big, fat, funny dude, right? Like, the gang kids liked me, the preppy kids liked me, everybody liked me. I was funny. Yeah, Kyle, my dad did a lot of good work. And it wasn't just my dad. Like, my dad made me that tough son of a bitch. And I think my mom leveled me out to the point where I could be like the artist. I could be appreciative of softer things as well, you know? Like if it was just my dad, I probably would have been drunk with power. I probably would have been top tier narcissist. And my mom was just like the perfect balance. Your dad was a firefighter. He knew how cops worked. He taught you so much, probably too early, but you're glad he did. Yeah. My dad was not a firefighter. My dad was a street fighter. So he knew a lot about the cops too. He taught me how they worked. One day I was driving with my dad and I didn't have insurance in my car. And my dad, I think I maybe forgot to turn a headlight on or something. It was some simple thing. The cop came to pull me over. My dad was like, bullshit. You're profiling. Maybe it was like, maybe he said I was speeding or something. And I think it might have even been speeding when I wasn't speeding. Just like got pulled over. My dad goes, bullshit, you're profiling. And the cop was black and my dad was white. And the cop's like, sir, how am I profiling? What color do I look to you? And he goes, blue, motherfucker. You're all blue. And he's like, well, you just made it easy for me to give your son a ticket. And my dad just starts cussing him out. And the cop's like, you know what, sir? He looks at me, step out of your vehicle. And he goes back to the back of the car. And he's like, your dad? And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, he's way he is. And he's like, I'm going to let you go. But you really, really should watch your dad's mouth. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then we drive away and my dad goes, got you out of that ticket. I was like, yeah, Dad, thanks. Fucking psycho. The principal that would beat his students with a baseball bat. What movie was that? Was that the Edward James Olmos movie? Thank you, Bite Size Cobra Vids. Cheers. Good to see you. Kira Devil says, my dad taught me you're not drunk when you hold onto the stool so you don't fall off. You're drunk when you hold onto the floor so you don't fall off when you were in 3rd grade. Yeah. Yeah, luckily my dad never took a drink my entire life. My mom never would have got back with him if he was still drinking. And he was very adamant against drinking for us kids. I didn't get drunk until I think I was 18. And I had drinking around 17 at a party. And I drank I swear it was 15 beers. But it was over the course of 7 hours and I didn't get drunk. I woke up in the middle of the night at that party and I had to piss so bad and it was pitch black and I was stepping on other kids. I was stepping trying to find out where the fucking bathroom was, pitch black. I opened up a door and just started pissing in it. I pissed in their closet. oops. My dad applied empathy too, but it was in a very masculine way, right? Like, my dad supplied an aggression, a questioning of authority, logical questioning of existence. Question things. It's okay to question things. It's okay to look at things differently. And my mom, gave me a look at things in a very caring and nurturing way that my dad probably couldn't do, even if he tried.
Isolationist Agorist funded $5, sending big love that nothing profound. Already said it on Twitter. Cheers.
Thank you, Isolation. I like your comments on Twitter. Appreciate what you said. Oh. Yeah, CT, my dad passed away Sunday night. It was his birthday yesterday, and we were all planning to have his birthday party yesterday, and he was excited to go there. And my stepmom found him. He had passed away in the driveway with just about maybe six or so hours until he would turn 69. So me and my sister and her kids went to my grandmother's yesterday, and cousins came over, and we had the dinner that we were going to cook for my dad without my dad, and it sucked. Yeah, I wanted to bring my dad on DP. We were talking about it at Thanksgiving. We talked about it a little while ago, and we didn't get him in time. Have a good night, Isolation Agorist. I'm gonna head to bed soon too. I'm coming up on the 2-hour mark, and I think I'm gonna take a sleeping gummy here in a little bit and curb out. That means you got to get Mama Fridge on. Yeah, I might be able to do that. She's a little less camera capable. My mom's good. She watches the show. She watches Drunken Peasants all the time, and she's good to like text me little insights while I'm live. She'll text me little pieces of information or like little jokes I said. She'll add on to them. So like she's a good producer. She'd probably be fine on camera too, but my dad was the character, My dad would have been like the hero version of Brett Keane. Like that, all those larger than life stories and shit, except they'd be so fun and funny that you couldn't help but love him. Yeah, go visit your mom, Kira. Shoot, like it's definitely Did you get one of Shawnee's gummies? No, I got these gummies from Costco. Shawnee's gummies, I didn't even swallow it. I just chewed it up. I got so zoned out high. Oh my God. I chewed it up because I didn't want to get the sugar from the keto. I was like, I'll just chew it. And I was zonked out. Oh my God. Even just her voice. My mom called me when I was live streaming one night, IRL streaming, and I was like, I was on one. I was manic, I'm pretty sure. And she was like crying, telling me to go home. I felt really bad about that. I got a sweet mom. Oh. I think this is going to be the final stretch. We're at about an hour and 51 minutes. I'm going to close up shop at 2 hours. So I'm just going to be winding down right now. Don't get me riled up, guys. Don't get me riled up. I'm going to need to go get this sleeping gummy. I can feel the headache coming. Might even run out to my car after I take the gummy and grab some bottled waters because I'm all out of water and I'm parched. I'm parched and I must have a little bit of water. Yeah, have a good night, Ariel.
Crap Latte donated $6. I don't even know what to say, it's just shitty all around. Have a little tip of love, Rip Daddy Fridge.
R.I.P. Yeah, he's been preparing me for this for so long. And I'm glad that I was of like the mind to know that this day would come. And I would tell him how much how great he did with me, you know, how happy and how much I loved, how much he was there for me and stuff like that. So as painful as this is, like I can't help but look at all the good. It's overwhelming how lucky we were to be communicative the way we were. Oh. Yeah, Seth looks, what's up, early bird? You get to those worms or you just never went to bed? I went to bed at like just before midnight. And I woke up within 2.5 hours and couldn't get back to sleep. So I went live. Did I chat with Michael Green? In the DMs. I talked to him in the DMs. Like, in a lot of ways, Angry Grandpa reminded me of my dad, you know? Just when I saw Michael lost his dad, I was feeling the pain of losing my dad through him, you know? I was like, I know this is going to come. And when my dad passed, I was scrolling through Twitter and I was seeing posts from Michael and I was like thinking about reaching out to him in DMs, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to reach out to him. And then when I posted publicly, he was one of the first people to respond. He told me to hit him up and I went to the DMs and told him, you know, I think I'll hit you up soon. Right now I'm just kind of going through the family stuff, you know, going through emotions that you're supposed to go through. Warm hugs, yes. Thank you, Dirk Cobain. Yeah. I've been lucky to have my parents as long as I have. My aunt passed away in 2008, and my cousins, you know, it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to see them lose their mom because she was a great mom. The youngest one was adopted, and he was so young. He found her. We were all staying at her. My dad was like temporarily separated from his wife, and he was living on the side of their house in an RV, and I was staying there in their basement basically with my cousin, and we had been out all night. We had a really great night. I came home and went to sleep, and I woke up to him blood-curdling screams about his mom. I ran upstairs, and she had passed in the night, and I guess the little boy, Jaden, found her. And they woke up to him saying, Mom, wake up. Mommy, wake up. And it's like that. That's sad. That's heartbreaking. Oh. Seth Look says, oh, dang, dude, I had just come on and didn't know what happened. Sorry to hear that, dude. Lost my mom a few years ago, so I deeply sympathize. Yeah. Yeah, I've been fearing losing one of my parents for so long. Getting old, man. We're all getting old. Is the music getting louder or is it just you? I don't know. It might be a little louder. It doesn't seem to be louder on my meter. CT says, what happens when we die, Billy? My theory is when we die, we flush. Is it the DMT? Is that what's in our system? Is it the DMT that we flush, the same shit that flushes out when you do ecstasy and everything? That euphoria you get when you have a traumatic event? It flushes out of your system to deal with your system crashing and your body dying. Serotonin, DMT, that all flushes out. And as it flushes out, you know how we have dreams, and some dreams can feel like hours or days, but really they were a matter of minutes. In that flush, in that euphoric flush, we go through either heaven or hell, and that is our mind state, our worries, our grief, our come to terms with who we were, and our final moments live out in a matter of seconds for what effectively is eternity in our brain. That's my theory. That is a game theory. He says, my mom sent me a bunch of Christmas presents the day she died. And like after I came back from burying her, all these boxes were on my door. It was a real mind fuck, and I'm not big on Christmas now. Yeah. That would be crazy. That'd be so rough. Thank you, Kaioku. Thank you. We are at 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 15 seconds. So I'm telling you guys right now, I feel like I could stay a little longer, but it's almost 7 a.m. and I got to get some sleep before I go in to the podcast later tonight. If you guys want to follow over on Drunken Peasants on YouTube, I will be back again live later tonight there. And everyone else who's going to go about their day and just thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the love and support too. Really, very, very cool. Helps me get through this, to know that there are people out there who want to see me get through this. Cheers. I'll see y'all again soon. Have a good night. Morning. I'm going to have a good night. You have a good morning. Wherever you are in this world, something like that applies. Big hearts. Big hearts. Good night. Good morning. Good day.